is not just for them. It's also potentially for Boxy as well, right? And that's a bit of pressure that no other team really has.
For sure.
We're theory crafting all these things that could possibly be making them off, and all we know is it has to be something in the background, right? It's not Dota related, because you just don't suddenly lose this much skill in a week. And it doesn't look like, to me, they're doing anything different as a team. Like the macro game looks very similar to me when I've watched their games, and they're farming the map just like normal, and then suddenly they choose to take a fight that just makes no sense, and that just isn't like Liquid.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we are getting into this draft, but even with like Beast Coast, for example, it seemed like they were off. They didn't fully understand what they needed to do to win the tournament, and you could see it a lot in drafting, but for the most part, they were still going out. There weren't that many moments where you're like, wait, what the heck is going on here? You know, Hector was still playing his game. He was still farming like an absolute madman, getting fat, but when you look at some of the things that have happened with Liquid, it just feels like there is something really wrong. And the question is, can they string together a 2-0 here? Because that can all be forgiven, right? You can get that momentum back if you get a 2-0 here. Even if they tie it up and they go to the tiebreaker, they can still keep the dream alive, but they need to take one game off of EG. Yes, EG has not looked perfect, but they have not looked bad at all. And they know that Team Liquid has looked bad when they haven't had the TA in their hands, so they're going to be able to ban that out.
EG looks like a team that's already secured TI in a very tough group stage.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
It's like they're not performing their absolute best, but their floor is higher than most teams.
I think they've also experimented a bit here, and they have found something that works. I think specifically for our TZ. It's kind of a return to their roots in a way. You know, we saw a couple of Naga games. They lean on the Terrorblade when it's available. Early picking Ice Ice's hero, who's really looked rock solid. I think there were a few questions when he came on board. He's pretty much been a top tier offlaner for his entire career since Team DK. When was that? Like TI4, TI5?
Yeah, 2014, 2015.
Yeah, like since then he's been on top. So I like the squad. I think they've looked good. Technically, they don't have anything on the line here. They're already through to the playoffs, or the lower bracket of the playoffs. They can't get upper bracket. So
if you're an EG fan, you're watching this just to see. Get an idea. It's like a litmus test of how your squad's going to be able to do in the lower bracket of the finals. Obviously, they're not going to have too much wiggle room there. Getting to see this DK. Oh, and the Brood. Okay, Cap.
Okay.
This is the same opening, I believe, that Nigma used. EG used this against Nigma. That was the game they took off them.
Carry X.
I think so.
I like this pick a lot already for Liquid. It's most likely an offlane DK. They could always rotate it to mid for Sumail, but it doesn't really seem like his cup of tea. The Axe, we saw it by TNC, and I believe they were the first to do it, right? And now it's been picked several times. It's the Manta Shard build. You're a carry. It's pretty nuts. As long as you give him a little bit of semi-carries to go with them, where that's not the full, 4 protect 1 idea. DK, we saw it earlier for TNC as well. The offlane DK with the Ags late game. It's a beast. I like what they're going for, and Liquid or EG has been predictable this entire tournament with their drafting order. It's kind of annoying as a analyst to see, because they just pick 3-4 every game, like first round. I have to imagine that the top tier teams can punish this, and I hope Liquid can pull something off for that.
The Hoodwing's interesting, just because the break mechanic's super effective against both the heroes Liquid have right now. You also remove the offensive power of the Axe in a way, because even with Shard, you don't proc it when broken. But you can, of course, cleanse off the break. You can remove it. I'm sure somebody's going to pick one up.
With the Manta.
Yes, that's very true.
Also, part of the problem is usually Hoodwink, when you're using it, the ultimate, it's very often going to be towards the end
of the call.
The call, very towards the end of the kill that you're looking for, like whatever it is, usually the finishing blow, if not, maybe the actual finishing blow. It just goes to show like what a big difference in what the two teams have to worry about, right? EG drafting offlane every single time, right? But there's a billion offlaners that Ice can play. Meanwhile, EG, they had to ban away TA because they've been picking every single time they can, and then Mars, which leaves like very few mid heroes that can also play offlane for Koipa, right? That's mostly he's been focusing on. The only other like true offlane hero he's had is Underlord.
Yep. The hero I wish I haven't seen them play Slardar once. I'm still not really sure why. They leaned on it heavily throughout the DPC, and it's disappeared from their pool. I know there was a slight nerf, but did not think it rendered it unpickable. But we'll see. They already have both cores. I don't think you're flexing an axe to any kind of support role. This isn't North American Division 2, so...
I think Slardar is too much about... He lacks tower pressure as an offlaner. I think every offlaner right now has immense dive potential, and the fact is Slardar waits about 15 minutes to be able to really have game impact other than the lane, and that just doesn't seem to fit this meta, because if one team has significantly more pressure on their safe lane than the other, it just opens up the map, and by the time Slardar wants to do something, it's already too late.
I'll say one more thing about confidence for Liquid. If this was a Liquid that was full of steam and we were praising them, they look fantastic. This opening, you would say it could fit into any 3 position, right? But all 3 of us were already set. The moment we saw DK, we figured, okay, Koifa's playing that. We saw Axe, we're saying carry Axe most likely. And that goes to show, like, a scared, like, vulnerable Liquid, you can feel like they're not going to take those kind of chances, even though normally they're known for their versatility of swapping players into any role that they want.
It feels like even before potentially the game has started, they're in that mindset of, okay, let's play not to lose.
I mean, maybe it will. Maybe if they surprise us,
we'll find out very quickly,
right? It could be, okay, Liquid's maybe got a little bit of confidence back.
And I really like just also looking at the second phase bans, you know, Liquid, Naga, Terrorblade, Ursa, those are all our TZ heroes. EG, Morphling, Lina, probably looking at a final Sumail hero to take out of the pool.
Like Glassrack or something, yeah.
But, you know, Sumail versus Arteezy, this is a story that's been discussed many times. I don't think we've seen these 2 players up against each other since what?
Well, Sumail hasn't even been playing.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. The last time that EG played against Liquid was right before the pandemic really hit hard, which was at the BTS Summit, which Liquid did win 2-0, but...
long before Sumail.
Yeah, that was long before Sumail joined the roster.
It was actually just such a long time that we just didn't see Sumail play as well. It felt like ages.
I wouldn't mind a save for Liquid, or some serious counter initiation, like Warlock, Oracle, both are Insania staples. Gives you a hero that stacks decently. Phoenix would be fine too. It goes well with the Axe in game. And it's not necessarily a save, but the Sun Ray behind is enough maybe of a deterrent.
What about an Enchantress? I think Kuro's put on a clinic with the hero.
I don't know about against the 2 supports. It'd be nice in lane, but I don't think Tiger could play the map the way he usually does. I think he would just die. But I wouldn't hate it. I think Enchantress is a really strong hero. And
I would want more answers against Broodmother, which I don't think Enchantress really gives you. Like an Insania hero being like Grimstroke is one of the go-tos against Brood.
Grimstroke, anything else on that list of potential answers?
You don't think the Axe is enough?
I think it's good enough for lane, yeah.
I just think the Axe usually goes Manta Blink. I think it's worth considering to go Blink before Manta just because you're against Brood. You see the spiders, you blink on them, kill them all. You might do it, not sure.
I just always think that you want to be able to have a support answer as well. Or maybe one of your other cores that answers it. Just so your carry in this case has the freedom to be able to move around if he wants to.
There's the Phoenix. Axe Phoenix.
Yeah.
Pretty standard, just not in the way we used to see it. The nice thing about Axe is super high base HP regen and then rushes the Ring of Health. I was talking about how that's the dream of any carry hero in Dota ever, is to just be able to rush Ring of Health and hit creeps. And Phoenix, usually considered a pretty greedy 5 position, I would say is not going to get punished because of the nature of the Axe versus Brood matchup. And we already have the Razor, most likely safe lane?
Yeah, I would think so. And
DK?
It's open, right? Because if they get a favorable matchup mid, or perhaps, you know, maybe they put Sumail on it, right? And they prove us wrong, then the Razor just swaps it up. I like this style from EG. We haven't seen it too much in this tournament. This is what I was the biggest fan of when they played during the last major. Arteezy on a Razor, on a Bloodseeker, something that's more active, shaded towards a 2, and they ran more of a tri-core that Ice was then freed up to have more of a farm priority moving into the late game. And I love this here because you already see 2 melee cores, lane matchup almost guaranteed to be favorable. Brood provides your tower pressure, so Razor is free to just kind of dominate lane and then just move around the map. Kind of, you don't need him to do anything other than be an anti-carry.
Is he really an anti-carry though? This game, because Axe does not really rely on normal right clicks to do the carrying. you know?
Yeah, and most likely, like, Sumail is whatever they're going to pick is something that Razor can't interfere with as much.
Yeah, I was thinking something like Puck for a little bit of mobility and catch for Team Liquid, but the fact that they have the Lion, I think that's why EG did pick that third. I don't like EG's draft. It's like it's 2 squishy range supports, a somewhat squishy carry, the Razor meaning burstable is what I mean by squishy in this case, and Enchantress can be incredibly disruptive because they don't have natural rotators on EG. And Enchantress, you can just be wherever you want. I usually like the 4 Enchantress because the way Taiga plays it later on is more as like a information game, but in the early game, he's just invading the opponent jungle, constantly threatening both top and mid. So as long as you can't see him on a ward, you have to play much more defensively. It makes it really annoying for Razors to ever... Like, if you're a Razor, you're thinking to yourself, if Enchantress is missing, she may be here at all times. So I don't want to link this DK if there's an Enchantress right there who's going to enchant me and maybe turn it for a kill. So yeah, well, it's disruptive.
EG's lineup's predicated on winning its lanes. Like, we didn't like it. I think we were even working together during their series against Nigma. And that was due to the fact that you don't really see how they win a game. And then you watch it play out. They've eaten 3 tier 1s by 12 minutes.
They're up by 3k.
Broodmother has the entire enemy jungle controlled. Razor is an item ahead and just running at people.
It's true.
You're left with nothing to do. Liquid, they need more items. They have to hit a time, and they need blink daggers. They want to have team fights, but you'll never get those if there's a Broodmother constantly ratting one lane while Razor and Lion run at the other and Hoodwink hides in the trees.
Absolutely.
10 what are we looking for here to round everything out, Cap?
Well, we're going to need some sort of mid laner for Sumail that isn't totally countered by Razor. Leshrac was like the go-to for them for when they first put Sumail onto the roster. That's already been banned. I mean, so many mid laners are gone at this point. They can't do the Wind Ranger that they've done before. They banned the Puck themselves.
Queen of Pain?
I was thinking that, man, Queen of Pain is... That hero reeks of desperation. It's a hero that is only picked by very confident teams that are winning consistently, or by squads that are just like, well, we need a hero in this archetype. All the ones we'd usually pick are banned, so we'll just pick Quad.
What about Batrider? That's a flex hero. It could go off lane or mid lane.
Okay.
So it could and it matches up really well against the Razor.
Wow, they
banned the Queen of Pain.
it.
Dude, if Sumail plays it, I'm not saying he's not high skill enough. I just don't know if he's practiced Batrider this patch. This is a sick Batrider game. You can hunt the Hoodwink in the trees. Gives you somebody to kind of run around the map, take the dangerous farm with boots of travel.
10 seconds
They do need something that's like super active, right? Because we've seen this axe, it's such a slow buildup, and the DK doesn't give you any damage. So
that's a pick. So in a 1v1 against Razor, especially with the earlier rune spawns nowadays, like SF is favored in that matchup.
Yeah, they're not going to put Razor mid.
No, definitely not. And that is much more damage output. My fear with Bat was that ultimately EG just win in the late game because they have overall last pick. They pick some sort of hyper carry and that's game over. But now Liquid are in a position where they have such an insane BKB timing. I just love the SF. Ooh. Oh god, and EG took it.
Well, it was a very good Batrider game for Team Liquid, and apparently it's also a really good one now that I'm looking at it for EG. 2 strength cores with no innate dispels. SF will be highly gankable with just a single stun from either of the 2 supports of EG, and neither of the 2 supports shut down Batrider. So I was leaning towards Liquid, but now you've suddenly got a Razor against DK. You've got a high kill threat in the mid lane. You're going to leave your Broodmother alone. I think the recipe that Kyle laid out there earlier is a very strong likelihood of happening.
Yeah, I love the bad from EG. You still have a really nice timing as Liquid if you get your BKBs online, but the guy to watch here is actually going to be Fly on the 5 Lion. When we see Kuro on the hero, he's very active. I expect him to do the same, and him linking up early game with either the Bat or the Razor, finding kills, and really just dominating lanes. That's the secret for EG to take this game, because if they have a huge fight around Roche with BKB timings, maybe a blink on the DK and the Axe, like then things get really dicey because EG's damage output kind of falls off.
I think for Liquid, obviously Sumail in his last pick with the Shadow Fiend, but the 2 supports I think are super important with this. We've seen time and time again this archetype of drafting this offlane DK pickup. You have to have your supports outputting damage. Both Phoenix and Enchantress, they need a huge amount of levels. They need a lot of experience to put that damage for you. So if they don't have that, then it's just going to be the SF by himself, and that's not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Very excited for this one. I mean, what an absolute treat it is for the last two. It's not very often that you get to the last two series of groups and they both matter this much. Obviously, we already saw a little bit earlier Team Nigma, they guarantee their spot in the upper bracket, but now you have to keep in mind EG, they're safe. They already know what's going to be happening. They know what their path is, but Liquid hangs in the balance. If they're able to take this first game, they at least get a tiebreaker. If they can win this whole series, they will go on to the playoffs, but it's going to be Sumail versus RTZ.
Thank you very much, panel. Suns fan here with Cinder. We made it back to the A stream. High five.
Hello.
Great to see you here, young man. This is going to be, as the panel talked about, an extremely hype match. Liquid versus EG. I mean, so many different storylines, but probably the most important, the standings. Liquid have to win 2 to ensure themselves to continue on in this tournament. If they draw, there's going to be a tiebreaker, and if they lose both, donezo.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean, in a way, it's nice to be in a situation where you're in charge of your own destiny, right? The really grueling moments are the ones where you've underperformed the tournament and you get to the last day and you need other teams to do really specific things so that you can get a second chance. Now they can take it into their own hands, and hopefully, based on what happened for them yesterday, they have learned... They've learned quite a lot, I think, along the way. They had to take some serious beatings.
Oh, God, there's a first blood. Unbelievable from far away as well. Look at that zoom action. Beautiful. Sumail ends up netting it for himself, which, of course, you know, I mean, he doesn't have his passive yet, but either way, amazing to get for your mid laner.
Yep, great start. He's one of the best heroes to get first blood on. This is already assuming that this gets to, the lane gets to play a little bit in isolation in the start. I would say Shadow Fiend has a good laning stage against Batrider for the first 2 or 3 levels, and then it gets really hard. So being able to have a bit of a head start might actually end up flat out winning him the lane. That's a really big deal here. We've seen Abed have some standout performances on Batrider for EG across the last year, and this is the game. This is the kind of game that Batrider can just totally dominate if it has a free start. So good for Liquid to get that first blood on Sumail.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I covered the NA DPC, so been anxious to see some NA dotes coming onto the stream. Very excited to see Quincy Crew, obviously, but EG, as we can see, this first blood being replayed here, so a nice block there. But I don't remember Abed. I mean, I'm sure he plays this a decent amount, but in terms of the NA DPC, didn't really play much Batrider. It was... I mean, they've been flexing his heroes a little bit more often, which they didn't do for that first major. As you probably remember, they picked Puck, and then obviously in the grand finals, literally just Storm Spirit, who was just playing basically the Spirits plus Puck for the most part. But this last season, they've been switching it up a lot, picking these heroes that could be flexed into multiple positions, which I think is obviously a nice thing to have in your bag for the draft.
I do think he played that, I want to say yesterday as well, in one of their games, as Taiga finds a kill on RTZ.
That's early. Wow.
Yeah, this offline Dragon Knight with the level 1 stun has already set them up 2 kills, and this is a very meaningful advantage. 1k gold minute 1.
Yeah.
As far as this top lane's going to go, we've seen... I don't know how many games we've just seen Brood destroy so far, right? Like, absolutely annihilate the opposition. After 10 minutes you take, or maybe after even less, like 5-7 minutes, whatever, you take the safe lane tower, you start taking over the jungle, ultimately you make a rotation, get kills mid, get mid tower, and the map just shrinks. It is very, very important, this game for Liquid. I think it's the most important thing that Broodmother does not have a good time. So that's really, it is a lane to watch up here to see whether Mickey and Insania can shut down size enough.
Of the safe lane heroes to have, I mean, Axe has been, you know, he's been promoted from off lane to safe lane a lot of these games. This is a good hero, at least historically, against Broodmother.
Yeah, it's just a different hero now, right? Like, the reason you wanted Axe in the past was that Brood would start making spiders early on, and you could just always fight them and kill them off, and you could never harass the Axe. But with this new Brood, it's a lot more about spell damage from the ulti on level 6. It's a lot more about just, you know, having the raw ability to just fight head on. I still do think Axe is pretty good. Like you said, he should be able to at least stand his ground, but whether he can just bully out Ice, I wouldn't be so sure. I think this is still a lane that Brood will farm in, and so far he's got easily the highest CS on his own team. Looks like all the other lanes are going terribly. comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, the Arteezy death obviously didn't help. Abed so far, I mean, it is against an SF who can just raise down all the creeps, but not doing too hot at the moment. But it is relatively early on. I mean, okay, I know that you're going to be a little negative Nancy here with the Hoodwink pick. I do want to talk to you about that in just a moment. But Fly looks like he's going to get off the Earth Spike, but not sure if that's going to actually result in a kill, as Arteezy just wants to go back and farm. Ice Ice Ice, though, all right, the Hoodwink save. Nice bushwhack there, but Ice 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 is going to get bursted down by Mickey and Insania, it looks like. Although they need one more right click. No, the Battle Hunger's there, but the health regen from the webs is helping. It's not going to help enough, though. So down he goes finally. And yeah, so essentially all the lanes are being lost right now in terms of EG's perspective, at least by a little bit. But back to the Hoodwink. This is a hero, again, North American Dota. They pick pretty consistently. It's looked okay at times, but a lot of people, like yourself, are not big believers. What are your thoughts on this position 4?
I think position 4 on average is going to be the best role for the hero. I'm usually a fan of laning with a hero that I can set up kills with, because one of Hoodwink's biggest strengths is the early levels. Like level 3, this hero actually outputs a lot of damage. You have a pretty good stun in that lane. Similar to Tree and Protector, there's just areas of the map your hero is just flat out worse in, right? I think one of the spots Hoodwink is very good at is either side's position, or sorry, tier 1 towers in the side lanes. So either bottom tier 1 or top tier 1 for either team. Those areas have a lot of trees. They have a lot of like little crevices that Hoodwink can surprise coming out from and just landing the spells. But Broodmother just doesn't strike me as, you know, the stereotypical good lane for Hoodwink.
Only time will tell here.
To pressure Taiga.
Yeah, Chris does take that rotation. He's super dead. Abed ends up getting the last hit for that one, and that is much needed, as we can see from just the CS alone. 11 and 6 for him. As top lane, we're seeing the Berserker's call. Now that the Hoodwink has rotated over, Liquid feels very free to try and get this kill. It's ticking out very slowly. The Fire Spirits didn't hit there, but it didn't really matter. Enough was already there. But Sumail getting chased down by Abed now. A lot of stacks with that Firefly. And Koikpa made the rotation from bottom, but all he can do is throw out a breathe fire.
Yeah, this, it's one thing for Sumail to die, but for Koikpa to TP in and fail to connect in time is actually like an added loss, because now he has to walk back to bottom. Shadow Fiend cannot rotate away from mid lane and go bot yet, and I don't think he wants to full-time jungle just yet at minute 5.
Right.
Koikpa's going to do the long walk to bot, and obviously Taiga being left alone down here. EG are not going to give him an inch of space, so they bully him all the way away. It's going to take some pretty good damage on the return here, though, with this ghost creep. He could even die.
Yeah, that creep is so annoying. Body blocks from Koikpa to follow. Plasma Field comes out, but Arteezy looks like he's going to go down here. So that's a second death for him, and it's only 5.5 minutes. So, I mean, we don't really get the chance to talk about just the idea of a safe lane Razor in this particular game, but I mean, again, all these lanes, other than the mid lane,
Sumail can't die.
Abed looking for another kill. 3 stacks of sticky napalm with that Firefly again. So despite getting off to a bit of a rough start, that's 2 kills in a row onto Sumail. And now the Acorn shot top with the right clicks of Ice Ice Ice, but the Berserker's Call is going to keep him alive a little long with the extra armor, but it's not to be. Finally, a return kill in the top lane for EG, as this lane was definitely going in favor of Liquid until then. Oh, and Arteezy making a really fast rotation here in top into that static link with the Hoodwink setting things up, and a double kill for Ice Ice Ice. You talk about how important this is from both perspectives in terms of the Brew getting off to at least some sort of a start where you can snowball. Now it's looking a lot better.
I know, this is like the most bizarre lasted distribution I've seen in a game this tournament.
It's true, that is
The
weird.
position 4 of Liquid has more CS than any EG hero minute 630. Arteezy has 23 CS in the safe lane. Abed has 16 in mid. They have no creeps.
Yeah, at first I thought that was actually sorted by team for a moment there. Very, very
And
strange.
Phoenix is just playing neutral. He's not on either team.
Yeah, we have the Troll Summoner here. Fly gets netted for now, and that last right click is enough. Meanwhile, top lane, you can see Arteezy still. He's being a real nuisance up here. He didn't want to play in the bot lane anymore. They're just giving that up completely for the time being.
Yeah, not very commonly you see Razor rotate away from the Dragon Knight lane. That is a new Dota right there. This, if you offered up this lane a year ago, you could get Razor against Dragon Knight, you'd be like, I am going to absolutely destroy this lane no matter who the support is on each team.
And look at this team jungling from Liquid as well.
Yeah.
4 of them in their own jungle right now, as the tier 1 neutrals are finally starting to drop
Top
here.
power fell minute 7.
Yeah.
So power for the course for Brood.
Indeed.
So it begins. Level 6 is going to come up, and this is where, you know, a lot of heroes at this point are just like, okay, I'm never going to lane here anymore. Axe can in this game. I think Dragon Knight kind of doesn't want to. Phoenix is one of the better supports to do this, actually. Not really because it's good at killing spiders, but because it's a hero Brood can't really kill. The Icarus dive distance is too far, and even if Brood does manage to chase down, you still have the town portal. So you can at least stay afloat if you want to, but I think the ideal play is to somehow plant Mickey up here. But again, with the new Brood, you could kill this Axe with +1 or +2 supports. So even Axe will not be fully safe in this lane, just the raw magic damage with the Bola, with the probably 2 charges of ult if the fight is long enough. See Crit gonna start here.
Yeah, just trying to be...
Doesn't care about spiders so much.
Yeah, I mean, Crit is level 5 though. He's doing quite well for himself right now. Is Abed getting chased out of the mid lane for now, but looks like Koikwa's going to come around the other side with that Dragon Tail. That's going to be a very swift kill in favor of Liquid. Now Crit has to get the hell out as Koikwa applies some pressure to that tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, Arteezy still in the enemy jungle. Mickey attempting to TP out. Static link damage not quite enough. And with this, Liquid gonna decimate this tower. I'm not sure if they can get the full. It's gonna get to at least about half HP.
Fly's level 6.
Is under attack.
That is very true. That is
a problem for Sumail, who's going to die now. Look at
Sumail! That tower himself
Sumail
right
is
now.
dead.
That is another death requiem for Sumail. That's 3 deaths for him already at the 9-minute mark. Not something you're used to seeing for him. And Ice, like we saw, just soloing this tower. And I mean, there's no Axum nearby, so they can't really do much. Attempt to deny.
Good, it's
not gonna happen.
Okay, so we have cast this game 5 times this tournament. Brood takes lane tower, Brood takes mid tower around minute 10, and now Brood takes this jungle. So
yes,
let's talk about, from our experience of watching this game, what the other team usually does and what they should do. With the heroes they have, nobody can really enter Brood's zone right now unless it's like a 3 or 4 man rotation, because Axe is also susceptible up there. So I think what Liquid should be trying to do, which they were trying, was to get that mid tier 1 tower before Brood got theirs. But that response was obviously great from EG. So what's the play? Wait for next Dragon form, try to hit mid again perhaps, so you can like equalize that mid lane. And most importantly, you need to protect Sumail. He's level 7 on Shadow Fiend minute 10. I mean, that is not good.
Offlane Koikwa on this DK is a level higher, like you said. Static Link, that's a lot of damage on Arteezy, but he's going to get pressured now from Taiga and company. He should be going down pretty easily. And down he goes. And Sandy in the meantime, Abed.
No dive.
Yeah, that's a lot of sticky napalm stacks. So that's going to be a trade across the map, obviously in favor of Liquid here. But no, you're right. The Broodmother just, I don't know. I mean, we can talk about the draft all we want. I don't understand how this hero is getting through. Especially, I mean, that was, what was that, a 4th pick, Brood, I want to say?
It was first pick.
It was overall first pick.
I think so, but you're thinking of yesterday's series where it got first
probably.
and 5th pick,
This
and I do not believe it.
A finger of, no, not even needed. Sharpshooter from Crit. And that's another kill onto the DK.
Yep.
I mean, it feels like from Liquid's perspective, they need, at the very least, a blink on either Axe or DK to try to catch Ice out, and then obviously you need more on top of that to be able to kill him. But I feel like a lot of the damage is already done. I mean, look at this thing.
You know, you don't want to write out a team when the game is even, right? It's not like, we're not going to paint the picture here that EG is just crushing them and the game is over. That's not the case at all. The reason we have the bias that we do to how this game runs out is that we've just seen so many games with this start have a similar outcome. So I am just looking for the solution for Liquid to turn that storyline around. Like, how do you avoid what has happened to so many teams in this tournament already? Including what you did to Team Spirit twice yesterday. How do you avoid that happening? Like, you know how Brood works. You know how to play it. It's one of Koikwa's specialties. You have to have a plan that you execute. So I'm just looking for it. Like, I'm curious to see what Liquid are going to do.
I mean, as Fly might get caught out here.
Probably mega dead. Yeah, he's.
Earth Spike is there, but you can see the damage from both the Enchantress and Phoenix are way too much to deal with. But I mean, anytime you have a hero
down at 11.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. But again, like you said, par for the course. But when you have a hero or a player that specializes in specific heroes, it feels like a lot of times there's confidence in playing against it.
Right, so because you know what the counters are.
Right, or you think you do. Yeah. And we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it is, again, Liquid were up pretty early. I want to say about 2K at the, what was it, like 7-8 minute mark, but this has quickly kind of snowballed back in favor of, well, it's about even, I guess, but in terms of map control, definitely in favor of EG right now.
Yeah. It's good from Liquid that they managed to get the mid-tier 1, at least when they did. A lot of Brood games we've seen, their mid-tier 1 stays for up until like 15 or 20 minutes, at least getting that down at about 10 is good news, but okay, we've talked about the Brood. The other hero that I want to focus on from EG is the Batrider, where you're playing into basically no natural dispels. So sticky napalm is going to be a massive problem that EG or that Liquid have to itemize against. You're looking at Mantas, you're looking at BKBs, Lotus Orb. Manta's going to come out on Axe. Shadow Fiend got shut down really hard. If you're having a great Shadow Fiend game, you're looking at a BKB in like 2 or 3 minutes. If you have a really good time. With Dragonlance, probably a little bit later, let's say 3 minutes. That would be 1,000 GPM here on out for Sumail to make that. That is not going to happen. So you might have to like weather the storm and try to just farm and play defensively out of flat out fear for the Batrider to run you over in fights. The problem I see is if you slow down that much, you know you're controlling less than half the map. So you are going to get out farmed over time.
But tell me about this though, from EG's side.
Oh, here's bad.
Yeah, that is the early boots of travel. He's going to set things up with that lasso, and with the rest of the team here, that is going to be a swift one again in favor of EG. But from EG's like just their lineup perspective, how do you like let's just say it gets to the later stages of the mid game into the late game, they don't really have a traditional carry because Razor is kind of an anti-carry, if you want to call him that.
Right.
So is that kind of the strategy from Liquid, try to delay this until you can get to that timing?
Yeah, it's true. Razor's game isn't very good either, right? We've been talking about Shadow Fiends. Razor can be a true carry with the talents and the levels. The anti-carry like profile that he has is obviously a part of the hero, but it's not necessarily a requirement. He's going to draw from it as long as he has a target for a static link, right? He doesn't have to remove an enemy hero from the game as long as he drains something in the late game. He has a lot of attack speed with the right talents. He can itemize to become a carry. And in this game, there's some pretty reliable targets in fights. Like if Dragon Knight goes in or if Axe goes in, they're not randomly just getting out of your static link again. Like they're committed. They don't have like Stampede or anything to get out of it.
Again, the bushwhack. And
didn't he literally just die?
He basically did, yeah. He's going to sit in the fountain a little bit longer. And you can see that the net worth for Mickey, not, I mean, this is position 1 Axe again.
Can we get a
middle of the pack?
Can we get a GPM check for Axe for the last minute? It might be minus 20.
Yeah, that's
not so good for Mickey there. All right, Liquid are going to make their own move. They find Ice.
Yeah, there's the Blink Dagger onto Koikva, into the Dragon Tail, and a lot of magic damage with the egg being expended as well. They are not taking any chances. They saw that juke the other day. I mean, that was Koikva himself making that juke. So like, just make sure you lock them down, right? Just need the stuns.
That's what it takes. 4-man rotation with their spells used. Sumail.
Yes, nice Requiem just in time. The static link is applied though. Arteezy getting bursted down with his magic, and the impetus to finish him off with a finger of death is going to be used to take out the Phoenix. It's a 1-for-2 if you want to include the Broodmother kill earlier and make it an even trade in terms of numbers alone. That's Sumail getting surrounded again. Abed and the spiders with that Firefly.
Illusion.
Or I guess it was the illusion rune being popped technically. And that is another death for Sumail. And this is a buyback onto the Phoenix.
That was so
EG want to continue here.
Crucial rune. If he doesn't have this illusion, he dies instead. But now he gets the kill on Shadow Fiend. And I like what Liquid did killing the Brood, honestly. They made a big rotation. EG were just ready to counterplay, and they're going to keep
Lasso again. I mean, this was used pretty early on in the fight, so it's up. And this is going to be another kill for EG. Feels like they're finding the picks that they need.
Yep.
I mean, Lion almost, I mean, he's not that far from a Blink Dagger, and I believe Mickey had changed his mind. He was going for Manta. I think he got Yasha and is going for a Blink Dagger last I checked, but yeah, so not even going for the traditional thing that we've been seeing with the Manta style shard.
I'm not sold. The reason I'm a little bit worried about him going Dagger is that he gets one shot, right? He has a blink call, but against this lineup, he's not getting out again. He's going to get drained by Razor. There's going to be the Batrider Sticky Napalm. He's blinking into a team that has really good counter stuns. Like, there's the Hoodwink Bushwhack. There's Lion Hex, who, like you pointed out, will have a dagger soon. He's got to be really, really careful with how he initiates. I guess Sumail's BKB is coming up. That's a very, very important timing for Liquid. All right, Koikva's in.
Yeah, the Bushwhack misses because of the long-ass TP on that outpost. And as a result, that will be a pickoff on Fly. Gonna delay his Blink Dagger time just a little bit there. I mean, overall, you have to be pretty happy with his position in terms of just itemizing for that Blink. I mean, anytime you can get that Blink instant Hex, it's pretty freaking valuable.
So I think the next timing that you're looking at with Liquid is Sumail having the BKB and max souls, and Axe having the dagger. Then I think you have a good opportunity to take a good fight. If you get a clean fight, you might even be able to get Roshan, something that neither team is particularly good at in this game. They don't really have any natural Rosh killers on either team. So might be a pretty late first Rosh. We could be looking at like 25 minutes or later. In some games this tournament, we've seen it killed at like minute 10 by Ursa's, or minute 15 with like some sort of Snapfire Solar Crest combination. But in this game, that does not seem to be on the menu. So gonna be a little bit slower, as we see pretty standard, right? Brood is controlling this jungle, so Liquid are going to congregate in the bottom jungle. They're either gonna overwhelm the Brood and try to kill him and get some space, or they're gonna not play that area of the map at all. Mike wandered up there, he got killed, didn't come back there again.
Yeah, I mean, they do have some push potential themselves, of course. Yeah, Mickey again.
This is not a possible kill for these two.
Yeah, the bushwhack, I mean, flying not in the vicinity, and it feels like a lot of these kills are kind of...
They're trying to bait TPs, I think.
Yeah, that could be the case, but Abed, it feels like, is needed for a lot of these kills, just to reposition. Like you said, the Liquid jungle is officially EG's right now.
Does BKB on Abed?
And Crit does have the Solar Crest, so this Roshan...
Okay.
I mean, it's not the fastest Rosh. We'll see if they can get it in time. In terms of Liquid's Rosh fighting capabilities, obviously the egg is pretty big. No blink, I believe, not on Mickey quite yet, but in terms of the AoE, not a huge presence aside from Phoenix.
The mindset for EG here might be, we have bad BKB, we think it overpowers everything. So if they come and fight us, we think we can win. And perhaps they won't even expect us to Rosh, because our lineup isn't really built for it very well. But, you know, any lineup with Solar Crest and a lot of units hitting Rosh eventually will get the kill. And this was, I don't know, a grand total of 30 seconds killing this Roshan. I'm guessing Liquid kind of know this is happening. They haven't seen a hero on the map for...
Well, it's either that or they're smoke ganking, right?
Right. But the spread that Liquid had on the map for that did not look like they were expecting a smoke, right? They were totally split out, multiple cores farming in the jungle close to each other, usually not how you react to smoke, so they're just willingly conceding this Aegis. And I would imagine that we're gonna see Batrider, probably EG, looking to make a smoke move relatively soon. They don't really have any objective to claim up here. I don't think it's high ground time just yet. So looking for some sort of an initiation where you take advantage of Batrider's 9-second BKB, of the Brood pipe, or you just park Brood top and force rotation out of Liquid so that you can win that 4v4 that you force somewhere else, or even 4v3 if Brood is scary enough.
Right.
Those are the options that you always have with this hero in your team. By the way, seeing Ice going for the full aura build, not just the pipe, which we've seen some do. He's going Greaves in addition. So very aura heavy.
Very cool. Okay.
And that does mean, because we were debating, like, okay, can Razor carry this game? They're definitely invested in the idea that both Brood and Bat will be utility. Yeah, Batrider can do a lot of magic damage, obviously, but there's one physical hero in their team right now.
Fly Smoke's going to be popped here. Taiga, not spotted out quite yet, but wow, that was right after the TP too, so that'll be a freebie for EG, as RTZ will steal all that beautiful damage. This is going to be kind of an annoying kill, actually. Oh my, Koikfa caught out, though. He gets the Dragon Tail off, attempting the TP out. Bushwhack is there, though, from Crit. And that's going to be a kill for Abed.
I think Koikfa might have counted the seconds there and thought he could get out, but Hoodwink, being level 10, has that Bushwhack cooldown talent. One of the best level 10 talents in the game, in my opinion. -4 second cooldown on your primary stun. It is so good.
And I can really tell you play Hoodwink, just knowing that level 10 talent.
It's yeah, man, you got to play a lot of Dota to know what your talents are.
Well, Hoodwink specifically, I feel like a lot of people do not play this hero right now, in pubs especially.
I mean, the reason I have a relatively strong opinion on the hero is that I play it a lot, right?
Right, you want it buffed. And
have like my own experiences.
This is your own propaganda for Ice Frog. I understand how you
I'm not gonna, yeah, and I absolutely hate Brood, so please nerf it. I mean, there's nothing in the tournament so far that indicates Brood needing a nerf, but it's just my own personal bias, right?
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
We'll have to wait and see how the tournament continues. Maybe there's a grand plan to it all, okay?
There might be.
I mean, maybe the Greaves is not good, you know? Maybe that's what will be EG's end.
Yeah, buff Greaves.
But right now, I mean, Liquid, it feels like they're very dangerous. Movement. Double blink here. Yeah, RTZ pops the BKB, going on top of Sumail. Can't even pop the Requiem, attempting to TP out instead. It looks like he'll be successful as the egg comes out. Will stun RTZ through that BKB. In the meanwhile, Ice. Looks like they want to continue the pressure, but I mean, Sumail went all the way back to base, so they're not going to have a lot of that damage. But it looks like Arteezy is going to be taken out, but that is, of course, just the Aegis. Sumail still waddling back to this fight. Eventually will make it. Koikfa gets hit by the Acorn shot. I believe that was a stun there from the Axe initiating in with that Blink Dagger now that he has, but the Impale's going to be there. And Arteezy stealing all that beautiful damage from Mickey. Sumail dies in the backside. Actually, no, that was the Requiem getting a kill, in fact. 2-0 in favor of EG. Sumail looks like this will probably be the death Requiem for him finally. And EG, a very scattered fight, but they come out way ahead. 4-0.
If you think about how Batrider and Brood work as heroes, right, this is the kind of fights they want. They have all the terrain advantage in every fight over heroes like Shadow Fiend and Dragon Knight until Dragon Knight has Ags. They're just plastering the area in webs, and Batrider flanks from the back when BKBs are down. You have no escape path as Liquid in this fight. Like, you're stuck on this high ground, and the enemy team all have like cheat codes on where they can just move around everywhere. So it's really difficult. If you've ever played like Age of Mythology or whatever, and you can just like suddenly just, you know, cast like nukes, it's not really fair, and that's sometimes what it feels like playing against these heroes with flying vision or flying movement.
Mickey gets scouted out here. That was a very, very ambitious TP, and it's going to cost him another questionable death. And it's funny because in that last fight, I thought that it was a death Requiem from Sumail because I've just been hearing him die over and over. It was a real Requiem, and then a death Requiem after. Looks like he's going towards Scott. He has the 8-second BKB now, but it feels, I don't know. The double BKB, I mean, the double blink, I understand why they're doing it, but there's so much pressure on them to initiate, but they're not really getting the fights that they want right now.
You can kind of understand where they're coming from when you see how the fights play out, right?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of mobility, they're just dwarfed by the EG lineup, so you kind of have to itemize some sort of way of fighting because you lost map control to Brood, so you need to fight your way back into getting some map back. You can only fight your way back against Brood and Bat if you have catch, so you have to buy that catch because your lineup doesn't have it. And then when you buy that catch, well, you get 10 seconds. If you don't get the kills, Batrider and Brood are going to win that every time. And I love the way Arteezy started that fight for EG. He literally just popped BKB, ran into 3 heroes, static linked Sumail, forced him to TP base, and yeah, Liquid kind of held their ground and fought for a while, but the biggest damage dealer was in base healing up, and when he connected back, like you said, he did get off a Requiem, but it wasn't a great one, and then he died straight after.
I mean, they're just struggling, I mean, for the most part with damage. I mean, we talked about how Sumail has died a bunch of times, that makes sense, but then your position 1, it just feels like you're in offense. They caught the BKB just in time, dealing some damage from Sumail, the Requiem coming out, but the Lasso cancels it. The egg is about to pop, though. It's going to be close. Sumail staying alive for now into the Requiem. This is exactly what they needed. They get the kill on Abed. Arteezy looks to be next. Does cost them Sumail, but he's died so many times this game, doesn't really matter. As Phoenix buys back in the game now. There's the Bushwhack keeping the DK in place. Ice on a killing spree. And now Axe is going to be focused on by Ice and Crit from the sideline. Fly looks like he'll finally be taken out in this fight. And this did cost a buyback from Liquid, but they're at least getting some kills here. Mickey, in the meantime, pops up Berserker Skull, buyback onto the Lion now. And they're actually going to TP into this outpost, so Taiga will be able to get out. But this looks to be a dieback onto the Phoenix, so... I mean, kind of a back and forth fight. I feel like Liquid got those 2 cores pretty early on, but they still ended up losing the fight because Ice just went ham.
They did a really good job keeping Sumail alive. I think it was a full duration Sunray coming out from Insanium, making him survive that... survive the lasso into Razor static link combination. So just barely didn't have enough damage, and they got the Requiem off, did some good damage, but again, even if they find these kills, they have to expend everything. And every time you kill 1 or 2 of these cores, it's not like EG are out of steam. Like, their supports have a lot of damage to bring of their own, and Broodmother was untouched the whole fight. It's really difficult to account for everything as Liquid here, and I don't think that was bad execution, for the record. They're just really far behind, so good isn't good enough right now. It needs to be flawless.
Tower is under attack.
Yep, and we'll find out in about a minute when the next Roche will spawn, so that will, I assume EG's going to be looking for a pick-off before going for that, because obviously the second Roche is kind of a big-time thing here, although the Shard, I'm trying to think whose Shard would be good for this game.
Not Hoodwink, because that one is not very good.
Yeah, the Hoodwink Decoy.
It's one of the worst in
I don't think I've ever seen it used before.
It is not very good.
A lesser Bushwhack is applied, but yeah, that one sounds questionable at best. But then again, a lot of people thought the Ags on Hoodwink sounded questionable. And we've been seeing it pretty much every game that Hoodwink's been picked.
The Hoodwink Ags is good.
Crit is building it here.
Yeah.
Mickey did get the Manta Style. I'm not sure if his Shard is done yet. Otherwise, it won't have much offensive capability. Nope. So going for that next, and that's kind of his, I guess you can call power spike right now. Where that's a lot of the damage that are missing. I mean, again, you pick a position 1 axe, that's literally what you're picking it for. Right?
I don't think I've seen that hero win yet.
What?
As position 1.
I've seen it.
Did it win yesterday?
Probably.
We cast an axe game yesterday with carry axe. I don't remember if it won.
I've definitely seen position 1 axe because I always feel happy when it happens.
Well, I mean, we've seen it, but
it's won.
It has won?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Making that up, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Yeah, I'm also making up that it hasn't won, so we're good.
All right, we cancel each other out. Very nice.
Yep.
Mickey, the smoke. It is popped. Looks like they had the vision there, but there's the initiation. Again, this is from EG's side, bringing Mickey to the high ground, trying to get healed by Insania, but just gets bursted down. Very quick kill for EG and no buyback for Mickey, so Taiga has to get the hell out, but they're going to focus their pressure onto Sumail. Bushwhack does miss, but Sumail pops the BKB, trying to go for the Requiem. Ends up dying shortly after, though. So 2 for nothing, and this is where the building damage comes in. And again, Roshan, another minute and a half, so we'll see how much damage they can do to these buildings in the meantime. I mean, that again, that's kind of the issue of the game in a nutshell, right? You have the initiation on Liquid, and EG is the one initiating.
Yeah.
Right?
They have the high ground position. They have the heroes that can break smoke at literally any corner. Both Bathrider and the Broodmother are extremely difficult heroes to smoke into, because you never really know where the heroes are placed. And when your smoke breaks, it's hard not to panic, because it's like, against quote-unquote normal lineups, you have somewhat of a good feeling of where the enemy heroes are placed, so you can like maybe go for like a blink in or offer up a support for vision or just place a ward or whatever, but you can place a ward and still not see Bat and Brood.
Right.
And you just suddenly just get jumped out of nowhere, and that's exactly what happened. Axe didn't really know what to do when the smoke broke, gets blink lassoed, and it's one of those things that makes the last pick Batrider so strong to me is when you have, oh boy, yeah, we have a Karka problem here.
Yep, that's a lot of FPS problems too, but it's not going to matter for EG as they're going to take him out instantly. But there's initiation from Mickey onto a bunch of spiders, but look at that hoodwink freaking stunt, man. Jesus, that hero is actually insane this game, Sinner. I'm not just saying that. Mickey, in the meantime, looks like he's already at half HP, trying to run away. 2 dead already. Buyback onto the DK. Quick, but can't really do much. Another beautiful stun setup from Crit, and this looks to be the end of game 1. My goodness. Bushwhack MVP. Not even the hero, just Bushwhack.
Yeah. We've had a couple of Hoodwink games where Hoodwink looked great. I mean, I'm very impressed. I think Crit has played a great game here for 2 reasons. First of all, his spellcasting has been great. Secondly, he and Batrider have somehow managed to work together, which is impressive. Because
I'm telling you,
ruin each other.
From what I've heard from other regions is that during the just the DPC in general, a lot of other teams weren't picking this hero, but NA was consistently.
They have a lot of practice.
Yeah, exactly. At first, it was kind of underwhelming. I've said that on record as we see a billion spin webs into the fountain. Don't think that regen stacks those Syndra.
No, it does not.
That would be hilarious if it did does. GGs are finally called, and Liquid, they are 1 loss away from being eliminated. Of course, if they win the next one, then we go to tiebreakers, but you gotta ban Brood.
What a bold choice. You are in a series where you need to at least just win 1 game, right? You need to win 1 game to at least get a tiebreaker and a chance.
Evil
it's working. Is like, oh, we'll pick Sumail. Hit heroes. Like just pick him a hero that makes.
Yeah, I want to see 3 semi-cores from there.
Exactly.
Not like one hard carry. Put Mickey on something aggressive. Put Sumail on something aggressive, and put Koifa on whatever he feels comfortable with at this time. And trust in like hell. Go back to like giving Taiga something that actually wins the game later into the game as well. You know, like just trust in the fact that your aggression is what is usually carried you in most of your matches.
That could be it, because you think about the success Nigma have had in the tournament. What do Liquid choose when their backs are up against the wall? Enigma. Or Taiga. Be a good pick.
Why?
That was better than the last one.
$5
I'll be honest. Kyle is a physical manifestation of what it's like to play Dota.
10
Low
seconds
lows,
remaining.
high highs. He can sound like a genius on the panel, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
Did you see the post on the Reddit where it was like 8,000 hours played, and it's like terrible game, and then it's like a review made at like 4,000 hours or something like that. And it's like, wait, so this means that you made a post of 4,000 and then played for another 6,000 hours? That's what it's like being Kyle's friend. But as we take a look at this draft, I do think that Kyle, incredibly, like 100% serious, very eloquently put some of the things that we should be looking for. EG, once again, though, going to get that TA out of the way very quickly, because that seems like the only way the Team Liquid knows how to win right now. Let's see how they decide to open, Brian.
This is the first time I've seen them play all of DPC as well as the tournament that they did not first pick A.
Yep. Lion, I think, pretty adequate selection. And I want to also shout out Bulba real quick. This is just a quirk of his, and if you track back through EG's games, as long as he's been coach, he respects what enemy teams do to win. So a puppy might say, you know what, we'll give them TA, right? He looks at their Dota and says, okay, guys, they can't win without TA. I'm banning TA every single game. And that has been what he does just throughout history. He makes you beat him with your B strat.
Yeah, it's like, hey, why figure out a solution when you can just ban it, forehead? Yeah, I do think that that's one of those things that you do see consistently. And it was funny because when we actually got here, you and I were sitting with a few of the managers, a few of the coaches early on, just getting to talk to everybody. And with TA in particular, it was like, for this tournament, you either need to be playing TA or you need to know how to beat TA. Take a look, Kyle.
Oracle Lesh?
I like it. I'm already a fan.
I'm down, go for it.
High highs, low lows. Kyle, you called it very, very well. We're not going to see the Lesh, but how do you feel about good old Davion?
I still would have preferred Lesh just because I think it's an easier method of taking towers, but ultimately this is still that combination that I was hoping for, because when Liquid look best, Insania is on this saving support, pretty much means that Taiga now can play literally anything in the pool, and the core can pressure, and in theory, it is multi-lane, multi-role. Who knows who plays the DK?
And this is also, I think maybe they were also taking the DK away from Evil Geniuses, because this is what Nigma opened up against EG, was Lion plus DK. Again, big tanky here on the front lines. You need to be able to have a high damage support behind it. Lion fits that narrative beautifully.
Also could just be, assuming it's Koifa's hero, Sumail has a significantly bigger hero pool. Like Koifa, he's adjusted pretty well to the offlane, about as well as you could expect. Obviously, the team isn't performing super well at this tournament, but he can't play everything just yet, and he's trying to stick to effectively just strength heroes with Blink Stun. There's the Viper. I think Liquid banned that in the last game. It was Timber Viper. Instead, they banned Brood. We agree with that, but you know, this is a pretty damn strong counter to DK, removing all the Dragon Blood.
Yeah, it's probably going to go mid or off lane for EG, based on what they've done in the past. I've seen some teams do 5-position Viper. It's worth considering against DK if it's going to be an off lane DK just for the lane matchup. Don't really know where EG goes from here. I'm always confused when I watch their drafts, because sometimes, like last game, the last pick just opens up my eyes and I say, wow, that really ties it all together. But the other times, their entire plan is to dominate by 12 minutes, and the rest of their game plan kind of just plays itself out because you have more items. And Viper's kind of one of those heroes that does that. He doesn't offer something specific to the game plan, but he kind of just wins his lane and then gets a lot of items.
It's also probably the best break in the game. And they're so few and far between. I'd much rather have a Viper on my team than a Hoodwink. Don't care if it won the last game. And as a laner, it's very strong, very annoying to deal with.
So as we do look now that you saw that opening, or close to it, that you really did want to see from Team Liquid, how they round this out and actually make it come together, Kyle?
It's tough. Viper is quite annoying for almost all the heroes we were talking about liking for Sumail, especially if it was pushed back into middle. You know, all these intelligence spellcasters not really big fans of playing into corrosive. They do have overall last pick, so I'm curious to see who they're going to save that for. I actually hope that it's Mickey. I think Sumail has proven throughout his career that no matter what matchup you give him middle, as long as it's not, you know, an absolute disaster, he's gonna do better than expected. We heard from No One and Limp during the DPC season that mid is easy now. You can't lose mid. There's water runes, there's quick bottles, bounties at 3 minutes. So I want to see Mickey set up for success. I don't feel like he has been so far this tournament.
You know what's funny is Vici Gaming, they ended up going for Storm Spirit against the Viper of EG, and I would love to see a Sumail Storm come back in action.
I don't mind heroes that have innate mobility, even if the laning stage is a bit rough, like the Storm Spear, because eventually the Viper just feels pretty underwhelming catch-wise, and even though he's threatening, if you do engage him, he's 280 move speed with no mobility spells, just ignore him.
I think you want really strong team fight as well, right?
Yep.
Like that is the one thing that Viper, he brings like some early team fight because of his natural tankiness, but you can usually overwhelm that with just like the really big AoEs, the Enigma, Phoenix, Snapfire, like those kind of heroes all fit nicely.
I think Liquid really would love some non-blink dagger required initiation. I think the Furion ban was really prescient from EG because that's the sort of style that Liquid tends to go into when they're down, is like you have a Lion, weak laner, all of a sudden Furion's eating towers with your DK, like it could put them behind quick.
Plug in the iPad and you start looking up random words. Prescient. Jeez Louise, man.
Do you need a
I know I need to plug in my iPad. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Prescient.
I think Evil Geniuses, when you have Viper as an offlaner, it usually means your other cores have to make up for it in the initiation department. So, you know, those Pucks, Faceless Voids, those kind of heroes are high value for EG at this point. Oh God, is this Dream Protector and Oracle? That's a
Holy Locket
support duo. Oh my God.
Is that a 4-position Oracle? Like, it wouldn't really make much sense to do a tree and DK lane.
Or hold up. Off-lane tree.
Off-lane tree, Seb style, huh?
I had a feeling this is what I had hoped Liquid would look at. Initiation that does not require a blink. Absolutely incredible against the support duo. Very good against DK. An excellent synergy with Viper. And oh my God,
what?
Bro, Luna? Team Liquid?
Okay.
In an elimination
Watch it
game?
be like mid-Oracle.
We saw Vici play against Clockwork. I haven't seen too many Clockwork games, but when they played, the enemy team third picked Clock, and Vici just picked Faceless Void Storm, and they just do nothing. And Clockwork does nothing to these cores, right? The idea of Clock is that he either has immense amount of kill threat because the cogs is locks you in, or he doesn't because you just get out of the cogs. And the Clock had nowhere to play the rest of the game, and they go for Clock. And then they just pick Luna. My concern is that if they fall behind even slightly or the game slows down, the Clock will just have the pick of the lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I saw Crit was watching our stream earlier. I'm concerned now that Liquid was as well. They heard me say Cat Rider and thought, oh, that's a great idea.
I
went the wrong direction.
I highly doubt
they were listening.
If they were listening before that, they were not listening.
I'm pretty sure most of the people who are watching right now are muted and cannot hear us right now. Thank you for that.
EG has picked the draft I hoped Liquid would pick. And Liquid, you know, this did work for Enigma. When they were in a must-win scenario, they were in the wildcard tiebreaker. They went for a Luna, not a DK, but a Mars. You save your last pick now, in theory, for Sumail, unless it's something wild like a mid-Oracle, which is kind of nice against Ember. You can purge the shield off and maybe help you out. It's just... I just don't know.
I'll eat my sock if it is a mid-Oracle.
Ali had a really good point. He tweeted before
I won't actually do that, but it's not going to be a mid-Oracle. But go ahead.
5 seconds.
Howie made a really good point that the TP change, now you have more distance you can actually port outwards to. Benefits carries like damage and all, move speed and range to like back away before they get ganked.
Oh, I actually think that I think he made a good point about these like Terror Blades, like low committal damage. But I think that's I actually think, contrary to what he was saying on Twitter, I actually think that Luna somewhat suffers from that because you have to get close to the tower. The increased range actually means you can actually TP behind Luna almost when she is hitting.
Not almost. You can absolutely TP behind any ranged hero that's not ultra long range, and it's super annoying as a carry in this patch that if you're not independent, you're most likely never going to hit a building.
It's so scary too because Ember Clock, like EG have such a great initiation combo, and they don't need any items. They just need levels to come online. Amazing burst damage from the Lion and the Viper behind him. Well, not burst from Viper, but you know, it's pretty heavy DPS. And Liquid are all in on the damage output of their Luna right now.
Please pick a mobile hero for Sumail. I don't think they can pick Clock and have no innate mobility on Liquid. I don't think you can do that. He will just kill all of you.
EB's banned, right? Okay, thank goodness.
Yes. You know, same bans as last game for Liquid second round, but they put the Razor in there instead of the Naga Siren, so they respected the Razor as a means to deal with the DK.
PL, Troll, maybe just a BKB carry from EG side. I think Illusion Cores have been RTZ's specialty so far, so I'd lean PL.
It's about the best Slark game I've seen in a while.
Slark.
Beastmaster.
Oh, Beastmaster.
Carry Viper?
Okay.
Weird.
That's
okay. No, carry Viper against the DK.
Oh.
That's not really laneable.
Yeah. Wonder what kind of build that hero goes, like what, Dragonlance bots or something? What do you go on carry Viper? Same thing as a mid Viper?
Still buy offlane items if you want, but I don't think you're really playing. You're kind of just playing for the mid game, right? You want to take away Luna's Ancients ASAP.
Yeah.
Take early tier ones. Like Liquid's lineup, they have major damage issues if they don't get ahead, and they did it.
I was gonna say Invoker because it's a male first of all, but I really like the look of the last time I watched Luna, it was paired up with Invoker. Alacrity Luna looked really strong.
This is nearly the identical scenario Nigma had in their tiebreaker. They had a Mars instead of DK, same other cores, and double Holy Locket heroes. So if it could work.
If Liquid's allowed to group up, they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
100%. Their 5-man is way better, and they just come online so quickly with the small amount of items and mostly levels. But I'm concerned. If they have to split up, you have the Beastmaster pressuring one lane, Abed playing against virtually no catch as an Ember Spirit, Clockwork has pick of the lot with all the cores, none of them can get out of cogs. If it has to be 2 to 3k net worth lead for Liquid early, and I don't think that's going to happen.
One of the things that allowed that lineup to be able to play so well was the fact they had Treant Protector, who is really good at allowing everybody else to stay grouped up, right? You don't bleed out those towers to casual pushes. He's even able to defend it. But look at this. Clockwork, Ember Spirit, Beastmaster, like that Treant Protector is not going to be able to just sit in the lane and protect against creeps and living armor other towers. Like that just won't happen in this game. So it's definitely all in on this Luna. Like you're just going to all in on one team fight, False Promise plus Alacrity, and watch Luna go.
Yeah, you guys have pretty much said it all. It's just about can they execute. I think EG have incredible amount of pressure they can apply. Liquid need to kind of stabilize, get through the lanes, get Luna some Ancients, and then, as you said, just roll with it. They need that one big fight, and then the glaives will bounce.
And the stakes could not be higher here. Liquid, they need to pull off the victory here to get to the tiebreaker. The question is whether or not they will make it there. We find out right now.
Thank you very much, Rich and panelists. Suns fan here with Cinderin. Why do you laugh at everything I say?
I don't.
What is wrong with
this? Is like the first time I've laughed at your intro. You're literally being a robot and accusing me of being a robot every time.
Something wrong with you, sir. I want to let you know that now, but there's nothing wrong with your television sets that you're definitely not watching on because it's 2021 and you're probably on a computer. But as the camera zooms away from us because they don't want to see anymore.
I'm really happy they got away from you as fast as possible.
Liquid.
It wasn't me. It was you.
As the panel was talking about, this is a make or break. They have to win to force tiebreaker against Team Spirit. If they lose, they are out. They are completely out. Now, the good news for them is they do have the taunt for the Luna.
Yes, That is definitely true. I was gonna say this draft from Liquid reminds me of, you know, the meme with corporate needs you to identify the difference between these two pictures and then it's the same picture. This is literally Nigma's draft, almost hero by hero.
That's right.
It is very, very similar, and I guess, you know, you're down to the wire. You got to grab a win here. Liquid are definitely picking a strategy that we have seen another team have incredible success with, but
can they replicate it?
That's the thing, because this is not really a style, I would say, in most of Liquid games this tournament that they have played. Like Kyle was pointing out, they've had Sumail play a lot of carry-ish mid. I'm very happy to see them pick a more active hero. I think that was a great problem in the last game, like BSJ was also harping on. But my concern is, a lot of the time when Liquid have success in various metas with this roster, I think back when they had Boxy, a lot of it came off of Taiga and Boxy making plays. Your support duo in this game are not making plays. So Sumail really has to be the prime engine behind finding opportunities, which he's definitely capable of. But my concern is he has to do a very, very big part of the work himself.
Thanks,
here.
Guys. Thanks a lot.
It works for Liquid, or sorry, for Nigma. I think they're more accustomed to the style, and I think Mind Control as a player is a little bit more action hungry, maybe on average, than Koika.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can adapt to that in this very important best of one. But this actually turned out for them for survival.
There are 3 bottom for Liquid to start things off. Obviously, the Treant Protector inside the trees. Ice playing the safe lane, so kind of playing a little bit of different lanes here just for the better matchups and whatnot.
Yep.
But Ice on Beastmaster, not the most common off-lane hero, if you want to call him that in this game, that we're used to seeing. I mean, we've seen it mid. It was pretty good, but I forget who actually played that, but they ended up losing because of all the
Carter gets level 2. Crescent, that's
wow.
not a good Nature's Grasp. That was...
Yeah, that was a little questionable. It's okay. Just call A and all that good stuff. But, I mean, we can go over these lanes and what you think of them. I mean, obviously, Viper's been picked a lot this tournament. It has extremely high success rate, especially against these really tanky heroes like the Dragon Knight.
Yep.
I mean, are you expecting it to go any differently for that lane in particular?
Not really. I think it's the primary reason they picked it, right? They picked it as a direct response, and they made sure to get the lane where it faces the Dragon Knight. And not only that, but the one thing you want when you have Nether Toxin against these heroes where it's really impactful is that you have a way of keeping them in there, right? You're playing with a line who has a stun and a very powerful slow in the Hex. So should definitely be able to get a lot of that damage out of it.
And we're seeing Battery Assault being used on Insania, but Ice not able to catch up with that little boar of his. I mean, in terms of like just out of curiosity, the build on the offlane Beastmaster, you don't have Necronomicon anymore. He's going for the hood. Not the hood, the Helm of the Dominator. Is it just like an aura game for him at this rate?
Yeah, I think pretty much. You have a lineup that's very tailored to be strong in the mid game, right? Like the panel talked about, it's kind of similar to the last game actually. They don't have like a true late game carry. Last game it was the Razor, this game is the Viper for RTZ. But your mid game is extremely fierce, except in specific kinds of team fights where everybody just runs into each other and all spells get cast. Then I really like Liquid's chances because Eclipse plus Overgrowth and Invoker spells is really powerful. But once BKBs come out, this Liquid lineup doesn't look very dangerous to me.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Fly's going to get caught by the Nature's Grasp along with 3 members of Liquid. It looks like that is going to be first blood going the way of Liquid here.
Going to Mickey?
Yeah, Mickey couldn't ask for a better hero to get that one. But in terms of like EG's draft, since I've covered them a lot, as we're going to see the first spike here by Crit, set up the RTZ right clicks. It's going to be turned around completely on the Crit with the Purifying Flames. It's just too much damage. Koika's Breathe Fire and whatnot. It looks like it might be a trade here. RTZ will get the position 5 Insania Oracle. But like you said, RTZ playing these heroes that are not, you know, I mean, when I think of all the drafts from the NADPC, he always picks this Medusa, this Terrorblade, just some big carry late game guy, because it feels like they always, at least at that stage, they were winning basically every early game. And now they're going for this more high tempo, beat you quickly, and we're not going to get to the late game to begin with. So cool to see them kind of stepping outside what I assumed was their comfort zone.
They might have a read on the patch right now where they're looking at what are other teams doing, what are the successful teams doing, and feel like they need to up their pace a little bit. That they're too static in their lanes, they're too static in their farming patterns. Ice is going to die here. This will be another big kill for Mickey.
It pops the Fairy Fire, but to no avail.
And gives him a little bonus piggy here. That is hard. It's hard to juke Treant in the trees.
Yes, I actually thought they were going to counter Treant with a Hoodwink. That would have been quite fitting indeed, as it was not banned, shockingly. But they did ban the Broodmother, as the panel talked about. So that's obviously a good change if you're a Liquid fan.
And Cap made a good point about the value of Clockwork against Treant, right? It's one of the heroes, it isolates Treant, he can't really fight back, he can find him in the trees with the rocket, and they basically picked 3 heroes that can all dive Treant in the trees. Beastmaster with Hawk, Ember Spirit with the Fire Remnant, and the Clockwork Hookshot plus Rocket. So I'm not foreseeing an easy game for Taiga here, and while in some games it doesn't really matter that much that your support dies because you can buy back and reconnect, Treant is slow, and he's a really integral part of their team fight, in my opinion, in this game. Like, some games Treant does well with just, you know, living armor, casting a Bramble here or there, or a... not Bramble, Nature's Grasp, but I think Overgrowth is massive in this game for their ability to deal with Ember, their ability to deal with Viper, and their ability to deal with BKBs, right? Like, that's really going to be an issue for their team.
Never refuse
He is going to be in trouble here, possibly.
ISSI is continuing to slow, but Mickey's there with that Lucent Beam. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana to speak of after the fact, and Taiga just being pushed out of lane for now, but looks like EG just want to back up here with the 2 boars in tow. Sumail we haven't really talked about, but obviously the hero you think about when you say Sumail is Stormseer, but next on the list is probably the Invoker, I would say. Obviously off to a very good start, has the level advantage right now, and the CS advantage as well. I mean, doing really well overall in this mid lane so far. And he has the, he has the Tornado, it's the Quas Wex build, so you can take off Flame Guard pretty much right away, dispel that with the Tornado.
Oh, Fly, this could be scary for Sumail if they have...
ISI's getting dove, though. Taiga will be the trade, but no XP for him. So 1 for 1.
Dust on Clock or Lion, because this could be a kill.
Yeah, Fly going in.
That was not so good.
I think he changed his mind. I don't actually think he was going for that after the fact.
Oh, a regen.
Fly's just going to get bottled by Abed, but Abed will still be bottling it. Okay.
Yeah, Fly did have a sentry, so if he had a connect there, that would have...
Forcing out a TP. Here you see the Tornado dispelling that Flame Guard. Taiga's here with the Nature's Grasp. Abed trying to get out with that Remnant. Should be successful. And of course, has that regen, so feels pretty safe to do so. Meanwhile, bot lane, Mickey getting pressured. They can get this kill. This would be enormous, but yeah, just not quite enough damage for EG yet.
Fly's going to backstab. This is a kill on Insania for sure.
Yeah. They obviously would have preferred that Luna, but they'll take the Oracle again. This time getting some XP in the bot lane instead of the top. So, I mean, Ice, this is going to be the more interesting hero to look for this game. 20-2 right now in terms of CS. Summon the Dominator not too far away. I mean, what would you say to his... Again, I'm just not familiar with this hero played without the Necronomicon and not with that mid, Ags build.
Yeah. I think you go for the Dom and some sort of boots upgrade, probably. And then, oh, hang on.
Nice team fight here. Mickey is level 6, but the Primal Roar. Arteezy is here. Like you said, that is a great combination, and Mickey's just going to get right-click down, and now inside the cogs, Taiga can't get anything off thanks to the battery assault. So amazing rotation from Arteezy. That was out of nowhere.
Such an unexpected attacking.
Yeah.
It's a minute 7 Viper traveling on the side of bot lane.
Wow.
You can't fault Liquid for not expecting that.
I literally thought that was a Liquid person TPing at first. Not quite, but has the Dragon Tail Sumail, not able to really connect here. But yeah, that might be the first time I've seen that one. I mean, we've seen the old school, like, Tinker, Boots of Travel TPing onto Hawks, but cool to see them kind of connecting the dots here.
For sure. Thank you. So let's talk about Beast's build. You go Dom into Boots, upgrade, whatever, and then either BKB could be a possibility, or you just, like you said, ramp up auras. Solar Crest could be a possible thing to put on the Viper. It's pretty nice. Pipe is good this game against all of the Dire heroes.
He's going to be spotted out. Dragon Tail will keep him in place. Abed.
Not much going to come from that.
Yeah, quick, but no longer in Elder Dragon form, so.
Very much moving on these EG supports. Both only level 4, minute 9, so kind of want the tome on both of them, to be honest, but they're obviously not both going to get it. I imagine they will end up giving it to Crit as usual, so Fly needs to find a lane. Clock being under-leveled feels really bad. There are some supports who's like, okay, Clockwork needs those levels.
All right, Ice and his army are top lane now, so it looks like that is the objective that EG wants to take. The stomp is there from the Centaur, and Fly's going to connect on the other side with that Nether Toxin, like we've talked about so many times before, against these very tanky heroes with a passive that gives you the tankiness. The Nether Toxin just helps you make them super squishy.
Tower is under attack.
And obviously, Nether Toxin deals increased damage over time, so...
You can lock them down,
yeah,
absolutely.
you have so much control.
Mickey,
Ember,
yeah, Abed wants to finish him off,
sure.
but Liquid have many members here to help support. And they can start off with a Lucent Beam. There's the Tornado. Takes off that Flame Guard. Sleight of Fist does dodge the EMP, so nicely done from Abed, but he's going to get cold snapped into the Lucent Beam to follow. Has the Remnant on the other side of the trees here.
Making a lot of space. He's basically just countering Luna with that play, more than anything. Luna's not hitting creeps in that time.
I thought that Sumail might actually connect there, but kind of afraid of a TP onto the outpost. He's double the level right now versus that Lion. Mickey getting some stacks now, and
Abed with the haste. He might actually go for this. Knowing Abed, he's going to dive Taiga here.
crit. EMP is going to connect to start things out, and like you said, that is a kill on the other side from Abed. It's a 1-for-1 on the supports. And expecting this, well, we'll have to talk about the build of Sumail in just a moment. Are you expecting kind of the same that we've been seeing throughout this tournament for the Invoker? Which is the earn into
I don't know if you get the Vessel here.
Midas.
I don't think Vessel is really worth it necessarily.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
I also don't know if Midas is that important here. When you look at the enemy team you're facing, you don't necessarily need to prepare for very late game because the game is going to largely be decided in these like heavy mid-game 20-25 minute timing fights. So maybe you're better off looking for any sort of earlier impact item that you could have. Historically, you've seen Invokers go like Orchid. I don't know how good that is here. Sometimes out of desperation going BKB, which I don't think he needs because he does have the Oracle protection, although that's largely going on Luna.
There's a good amount of spells that go through BKB this game as well.
Witchblade could be a mid-game timing item.
Oh, okay.
If he was thinking about it. He's going the phase boots so far and has nothing queued up. So we'll see what he ends up settling on.
And well, Fly is now level 6 on this Clockwork, so the hook shot initiation will be a thing, as long as he can hit it, of course. Abed still pressuring this mid tower, of course has the Remnant out, so
Trant does not defend
safe.
well against Beastmaster. They have to rotate in course every time Beastmaster hits the tower. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, all those instances of damage. Living Armor, obviously, it's good for like these slow-paced games where there's not a ton of pressure done to the tower, just like chip damage, but like you said, with Beastmaster, it just feels pretty difficult to keep up. So now, looking for the Arcane Rune. Oh, looks like it's going to be stolen here by Koikva. Interesting. Doesn't have Dragon Form quite yet, but obviously that's going to be very nice once he does pop it.
Rocket scouting out Insania. They know what's going on, and they seem to chill for now. EG, it's just you can definitely tell what the mindset is, right? They're really pressuring. Even when they're not fighting, they're always posing for a fight. So they're trying to make Liquid be inefficient on the map with the resources. Good combination of spells here.
Great layering overall. Will it be enough though? Abed, yes. Wow, insane. He is. Purifying Flames is actually the one to get the kill. Must have been just enough damage. But, I mean, they have a lot of Dispel between the Tornado and the Fortune's End as well. So Flame Guard not really able to make Ember feel any tankier this game. It looks like Ice 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 is actually going for a BKB second item. Interesting. So feeling... I mean, they don't really have, other than hookshot, like long-range initiation. I guess you have Ember Spirit setting up chains, potentially. They feel pretty comfortable with what they have, and maybe Blink Online, of course, Fly. First hookshot of the game, the Roar onto the Oracle to try to prevent. And look at the Centaur stopping as well. No
Really
false
good
promise for you.
there.
So they delete 2 heroes, and now Abed taking out the Courier of Sumail. And Taiga looks to be next. If they can just get one more stun, it should be a kill. Actually, the slow should suffice. Taiga has the overgrowth. It's going to actually connect on several heroes here, but Abed, the leap should be fine. And that's 3 dead, and EG, the pressure they're applying, so fast.
That was a very, very clean engage. When I saw the hookshot, I was like, oh, is this really going to end well? You need to also cover the Oracle. So they hookshot the Dragon Knight, they roar the Oracle, they then chain Centaurs down the Oracle. So Ice 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 basically soloed him. And they isolated Koikva in the meantime. Very nicely done.
Nice Tornado, though, from Sumail as Koikva does have his Dragon Form. Will pop it. Fly basically no matter to speak of as the Eclipse pops as well. And, well, looks like Fly is going to be the only casualty for EG. So if you're EG, that's absolutely great turn of events. Eclipse down now.
Oh, Sumail. Oh, wait, never mind. Okay.
Abed with another Remnant.
Have a Remnant out. I saw he had cooldown. I was like, uh-oh, he's not getting out of that.
He's all over the place right now.
Definitely getting out of that.
Well, the tier 1 tower stays up. And remember, this is a Treant Protector lineup, so as we see, the stun from Koikfa. Abed just walking away for now. Looks like he'll be good to go. And Crit just slowing things down here. Doesn't have much mana to speak of. So Blink Dagger is Koikfa's first item. No big surprise. I feel like this is just literally every game on Dragon Knight. But are you surprised Ice 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 going for the BKB that I mentioned earlier instead of a Blink Dagger or something like that?
It was one of the options I laid out, right? Like either you go BKB or you go Auras. I did think he was maybe going to upgrade his boots, but I think it's solid. You have one clear job in this game, and that is deal with the Oracle and the Treant, right? If Beastmaster takes care of the supports, I think the core matchups are very, very playable. Luna has quite some issues in this game with...
He finds Mickey, Battery Assault into the cogs. Insanity is on the other side with that False Promise ready, so I don't think EG wants to go any further here.
It's a very difficult arena to fight into Oracle, that one. On this slopes, Oracle has a very easy time casting all spells and protecting whoever you go on. And also Invoker. He loves fighting around these small steps where all his spells just land every time on multiple heroes. So out of experience, their EG are going to back off, and they're going to try to put more pressure mid. This Living Armor is somewhat keeping it alive against the Siege Creep and Beastmaster minions, but eventually, I would imagine they're going to be able to grab this tower.
Liquid are coming in numbers to try to defend, but there's the Roar to start things out. Don't really have that much damage followed up, especially with that Fate's Edict applied. Meanwhile, bottom lane, this is the bigger kill onto Mickey. They're focusing so much on mid is Liquid that their carry ends up dying bottom, and they still lose that tier 1 mid. Now Taiga has TP'd in. See the stun onto the Beastmaster, but not being able to follow it up with any damage. Is Arteezy just going to be able to blow up this Dragon Knight again? This Viper versus Dragon Knight does not feel very good for DK players. Abed now chasing Insania. Looks like they'll leave it there.
All right, you have to think that was just a full-on divide and conquer play. That was actually beautiful. Again, EG are using some really high-level concepts in this game. Like, the way they did this, it looked like a really weird roar, right? Like, okay, there's an Oracle right behind. You can literally just save him and he probably gets out. But the thing is, what they do with this roar is they force the other Liquid heroes to stay in the neighborhood, and that gives them the kill on Luna bottom. And then after killing the Luna bottom, Arteezy can actually travel mid to where they've started this fight. So they basically create two 3v3, 2v2s at the same time on the map. And what Liquid's lineup wants is a 5v5, and they're never getting it. Like, it's just EG splitting them apart and using the map extremely well. And these travels on Viper, man, they've paid off big time so far.
Oh, yeah.
Finding some really good moves.
I mean, just with the Boots of Travel, they've gotten 2 kills on Luna, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So he has a Yasha now. We'll see what he ends up building overall. But at the Dragon Lance, the Falcon Blade, all that good stuff for Viper players.
Is he going Maelstrom?
On Viper? I think it was the Ember Spirit.
Did I see that wrong?
Javelin.
I saw it wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Abed has it.
Okay, that seems more right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you could go Atos into whatever the hell that item is called on Viper.
Gleipnir.
Gleipnir, yeah.
Forgot what that's actually called in Norse. Oh, it's called Gleipnir. Yeah, okay, every Icelandic Dota viewer right now is cringing Gigaheart. That's fine. You don't learn that in school anymore.
Yeah, that's a real shame, as Roshan, #1, will be taken out in favor of EG. Not even a contest coming out from Liquid. I mean, this is a 3K net worth lead, and again, just to remind viewers out there, Liquid has to win this game, or else they are out of the tournament. And if they win, it's still a tiebreaker. Best of 1, I believe, with Team Spirit. So
you have to win for a chance to win.
Well,
a chance to get into top 8 where you win something.
That is, yeah, that is true.
So a lot of winning to win to win to win, and then getting there, and then getting a chance to get top 4 for TI. So, or top 8, 6, I think it is.
It's like those loot boxes, right? You open one up, you get a better chance to get the next, and you just got to keep trying.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, keep trying. Like, if you lose this game, just start a new game.
Well, Abed being very annoying. Now that he has that Maelstrom, can help clear these waves a little bit faster. And the Koikfa initiation, not able to be there. Abed with the quick fingers.
That was sexy.
That's a voice line.
No, it's not.
That is a voice line.
I was going to say, don't make that a voice line. I am not trying to force in voice lines. I am naturally funny.
If Team Spirit can do it, you can do it. Team Spirit.
Damn, that's...
Defend your tower.
Well,
that's
Latam Defender.
Yeah, that's Latam Defender.
Or Latam, I'm not sure how you say it.
Either way, 4K net worth lead now for EG. They still have the Aegis on Arteezy for another 3.5 minutes plus some change on top is mid game.
Are they finally gonna get this mid tower?
Yeah.
Looks like it. Alacrity plus Dragonlance plus Grove Bow.
Okay.
Hitting from very far away.
Yeah, Grove Bow's pretty good.
They'll be trading for tier 2 though, so it's still bittersweet. You finally get the mid tier 1, but this trade-off is not good. You're gonna lose the outpost eventually. But they are trying to surprise EG here with this move. Fly, however, is in a really good position to break smoke. I feel like this is ill-advised. We're gonna see how it turns out though.
Yeah, quite fun. They're using their initiation on a fly. They blow him up pretty quickly. That's a 5v4 in favor of Liquid right now. Still, Alacrity on Luna is quite scary, Cinderin.
If they get that 1 kill and get out, it's actually not too... I think I'm getting more.
Ice is clipped by the tornado, but you can see that Liquid are very scared to go in. Although Dragonite jumps in, and now he's just going to get blown up inside that Nether Toxin. Down he goes before he can pop any spell. Now Liquid on the run. Sumail looks like Abed has his sights set, but Taiga with that overgrowth keeping him in place. If they can turn this around with the Eclipse, they do. Abed is dead. No Aegis for him. It is on the Viper, of course, as Arteezy. Now he's running. This is such a back and forth fight. It feels like both respective teams feel like they have advantages at different times in the fight.
That they don't have.
Overconfidence. Arteezy, that is going to be the Aegis. He is surrounded right now. Crit does have the Blink Dagger and every spell to his disposal. Arteezy puts down the Nether Toxin. There's a hook shot for Fly, who's actually respawned regularly, but there's a false promise keeping the Luna alive. How much damage do they have? Can they blow him up? I don't think so. He's just going to apply these right clicks to Fly.
He has taken so much damage that he's going to be healed to full.
And Viper, Arteezy looks like he will finally die. Tries to get out some more damage before the inevitable comes. Okay, never lead for EG, but a definite fight win for Liquid, despite it starting out horribly, really.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out well for them. So they get the first Clockwork kill free, right?
Yeah.
So it's a 5v4, but they're fighting into Aegis, and the enemy team has like a really good position up at that top line of trees with the heroes they have. Abed just jumps in with Fire Remnant and just gets caught in overgrowth and killed. If he doesn't die like that, I think this fight could have turned out really, really badly for Liquid for following up. But Abed kind of offering them a good fight there, and they took it and they won it. So nice for Liquid. They somewhat equalize. Obviously, losing the tier 2 tower never feels good, as that outpost will more than likely be a target for EG sometime soon. And having those 2 outposts against the enemy team's 1 is very nice, of course. But Mickey, probably the big winner of that fight. Look how much he's pulling ahead now with Arteezy dying. 2.5k gold. Oh yeah. Ahead of that that Viper, and he seems to be building a butterfly in the Luna. I guess it's pretty good. I don't know if it's the best possible item here. I kind of like BKB. I kind of like Scotty as well. I don't know if the evasion's important. I don't know if they have damage problems. But either way, just getting big items here, obviously on the Luna is what you want for this lineup. You have a lot of protection with both Oracle and Treant and Alacrity from Invoker. So as long as Luna stands and delivers with a net worth lead, Liquid have a good chance.
Yeah, Abed perhaps trying to bait here a bit, as the rest of EG pretty much are smoked up. Arteezy can always TP to these. Never mind, that's a Purifying Flame killing the Hawk, but he can still TP nearby thanks to the Boots of Travel. Arteezy, I believe, is about to finish a Manta Style, so that's a dispel for, a lot of things, but more notably than anything, the Overgrowth. I feel like from Abed's perspective, I feel like he needs some sort of dispel, like a BKB or a Manta himself.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Beastmaster's buying one, right? Yeah. So you would imagine both your Ember and your Viper would kind of follow suit, and that you hit this incredible timing for your team where you were all on the same page with that, but not the case right now. This could be a big backstab. I don't think EG are expecting this at all. This attack angle would be a very nice way for them to start the fight, to find out the Lion here, unless he blinks in time. Oh, they showed.
Yeah, they showed.
But they, okay. This is a very awkward position actually for both teams now. You're kind of like, okay, well, EG are gonna go push up mid. And Liquid, since their smoke didn't really bear fruit, they're just going to start pushing out bottom, looking at tier 2.
Tell me about EG's lineup if they start... they've started to lose a little bit of luster. Is that even the right word? I don't know. But Liquid are starting to come back.
Word at all.
The luster is definitely a word, 100%. I don't know. I don't remember what it means.
Is that when you have more lust than someone else?
No, I don't think so. But maybe in your case. But anyway... is there a point where EG's line just starts to taper off a bit? Ember Spirit can scale pretty well, but Viper feels like one of those heroes that's like, Beastmaster, it's an off lane with, again, no Necronomicon. I don't know how well he scales without going for the Ags build.
There are some really good talents on Viper to become a carry, similar to what we talked about with Razor last game. Level 20, you either get the Viper Strike DPS or the damage, and the level 25 talents on Viper are just amazing. But yeah, the hero naturally will not farm as fast as a Luna, so whether you can keep up with like the pace of the game
Right.
is really the bigger question rather than Viper. In theory, should be able, like with equal net worth, shouldn't be a bad hero against Lunalingam. Oh, there's the roar.
BKB popped by Ice 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 into the roar, but the Fate's Edict applying a little bit of damage mitigation there for Koikwa. He's super healthy. He's going to pop that ult in turn.
More staff.
Abed deep in enemy lines. They're going to try to focus on the Oracle for now. And Mickey already half HP. He doesn't have an Aegis or anything like that. Overgrowth is there, but there's a false promise keeping him alive. We'll see if he ends up at full HP despite taking so much damage from Arteezy on the other side of his Nature's Grasp.
He's definitely living.
Yeah, he is full HP, good to go. I mean, on the other side, you have Viper that can scale, you know, with the Shard. You can push like a mother effer. I mean, obviously Luna on the other side can push really well as well, but you've seen these fights as Dragonite jumps in. Looks like Ice 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 is going to be the recipient of that death in favor of Liquid, and the chase is on. Fate's Edict. I mean, I have to say, Insania is playing out of his mind right now. His spell usage is unbelievable. His Fly gets caught by his own cogs, essentially not able to hit his hook shot on teammate. He's going to go down. That's a double kill for Mickey, make it a triple. Abed trying to slow them down a bit, but now Liquid, they might be doing it, Synderin.
Yeah, a little bit of a help your friend syndrome there. They could have cut the Beastmaster, I think, and be done with it, but Fly tries to help him a little bit, then he gets caught, tries to hook shot out, misses that, then Crit tries to help Fly, then Crit gets caught and he dies. The two big cores get out, but Liquid get out with a really big win in that fight, getting at least this mid-tier 2. Maybe can look to set up for the next Roshan, early spawn in 15 seconds. So if they can start getting map control in that area, this is definitely not looking bad for them. And that fight was actually really scary. I think Liquid weathered the storm very well. So what they did was, they obviously roared to start the fight, and Ember jumps in the backline and basically zones off the two support. The Treant and the Oracle have to fend for themselves, and they get some help from Invoker eventually. But what they did was, they outlasted them with the False Promise, and they identified, wait, they have just used BKB, Roar, Ember Remnants, and I think also Hookshot. So they just turn around and run them down and find all of the kills that they can get. Yeah. Nicely done from them to get themselves a little bit of an advantage.
I'm not sure if Koikwa was in the Nether Toxin. It feels like every time he is, he just gets blown up. But that it felt like he was quite tanky that time around. But either way, yeah, Liquid looking a lot stronger now as a result of that fight. And of course, I mean, Luna, one of the best pushing position ones in the game. It feels like he just can't do much once he gets into your base.
Smoke again. Liquid with the half smoke.
Trying to bait things out perhaps as Fly ready for that hook shot.
Bottom tower is under attack.
And as you can see, Roshan not coming up for another minute, so ends up being close to an average spawn time for him.
Yep. Scan hits from Liquid, so they know exactly where EG are and what they're doing. And both teams are going to scout Roche with Sunstrike and Rocket respectively, so they know that that's not up, so they feel pretty safe to push bottom. I like this a lot from Liquid. They're going to try to force EG back. They know that their tower pushing threat is just way too strong.
Yeah.
EG are kind of late to this. They don't have Glyph.
And that Alacrity is just ripping right through the tower. It's not quite dead. Here's the initiation from Fly.
Just dead. Absolutely.
And now Mickey can just finish off this tower as Abed is still coming from behind here. There's the buyback onto the Fly. Fate's Edict. Looks to just be resetting now. Of course, if they can just get a pick into Roche, that is a little bit safer.
Dire's bottom
see what they choose to do here. As we can see, Roshan is about to spawn. And obviously, this is the second rush, so Shard will be available. You'll have Luna Shard. It's not bad. You don't even like crazy good shards on this team, though. I think the Luna Shard is it's like the Lucent Beam. You can cast it on the ground, and it applies like 2 attacks or something like that with Moonglaive. Which, you know, as you scale, it just gets even better and better.
Treant Shard is pretty decent.
Yeah, it's true. You get the stun out of trees.
I know. And the tree walking invis, but there's no like S tier ones here, right?
Yeah. This is gonna be a pretty big fight. If EG can get this,
Satanic,
they can turn it back around again. Roshan at half HP. Hookshot does miss, like you said. Arteezy has a double damage right now.
You really want to find this Oracle. That hookshot could have ended up being crucial for EG. Starting on Oracle and bursting that hero if possible will really help.
Mickey just picks up a Hurricane Pike. Looks like they're going to apply all their pressure to Arteezy, but there's the roar to try to counteract that. Arteezy pops that Manta style, but Mickey is just ripping right through him. Looks like the space created thanks to Fly with those cogs is there. Oracle dies, buys back into the game. Looks like Treant's going to be next to a double kill for Ice 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 from the sideline.
Koikwa's alive though.
Now Abed, now getting right-clicked. He has to get out with that Remnant. He'll do so successfully for now, but now Crit, nice Force Staff into the low ground. Will get healed thanks to the Purifying Flames coming out. Oh, Sumail finds him though with a deafening blast, and now he's just stuck inside the pit. Wait, there's the blink. Onto the other side, has a Spirit Vessel applied. Earth Spike to
Fire
follow. Crit, I assume, is going to die here finally.
Good assumption.
Did require one buyback for Liquid, but they do find 3 and likely the second Roche.
This is so big for them. They're playing for tournament life.
Absolutely.
And this is Aegis Cheese. This is very likely their key.
Abed,
Rax.
Abed, he gets found out by Corkfoot Dragon Tail into the Sunstrike. Oh, I mean, you can question whether he should have tried for it or not.
Yeah.
But he didn't work out. Yes, he sure did.
He definitely tried. I'm still a bit confused about EG's approach to the fights. It looked like they don't have the same idea of what they want to do. Like with Beastmaster going BKB and then not having one on Ember or the Viper in these crucial moments is... You see Arteezy there, like, yeah, you get your Manta off, but you have to run away. Like, he spent the entire fight running. He cast his ult and couldn't stand his ground afterwards. He took like 2k damage, and then that's pretty much the fight for him. It's,
And that's going to be a mid lane as well.
so much magic damage. You're playing into Invoker, one of the best heroes in the game to have BKB against. Have to question whether this itemization for EG is paying off versus the alternative.
Yeah, Corkfoot jumps in with that Dragon Tail. No follow-up, however. Wants to make use of this dragon form. Nope. There's a hook shot from Fly into the double Earth Spike, but Mickey gets saved again with the false promise. Of course, still has that Aegis. Horror expended on him as well. Again, he's probably going to live through this and still has the Aegis on top of that. Corkfoot pops that newly picked up BKB. Abed right in the middle of things, trying to go for that all-important Oracle. Fates edicts himself, and there you can see the Cataclysm doing massive damage. Crit gets blown up, buys back into the game instantly. They finally do get the Dragon Knight, though, so it's a 1-for-1, and now Liquid on the run, technically speaking. There's the Eclipse to follow up all of this damage from Sumail. He's kind of on the outside of this fight. Taiga trying to get off some spells, but he's going to get battery assaulted in the meantime inside of those cogs. Double kill for Abed, and they're just kiting this Luna as much as they can. Inside this Nether Toxin now, looks like Mickey's basically by himself. Abed on the outside. Aegis is still up, though, and they cannot kill this man. Arteezy, 3-level disadvantage and so much farm as well. Taiga still on the outskirts. Abed looking for him instead. Again, if they kill him, he's still going to have a second life Fly. Still available to use. I mean, he can't go anywhere on Mickey.
I don't know if they can kill him, even with Nether Toxin and all their spells.
Yeah, we'll see here. Abed.
Yeah, they gotta let him go.
Absolutely. Wow.
It's kind of bizarre to watch. It's a 4v2 and they just can't. They got it one life only because he was like half health, had no way of attacking with his Satanic. But they hold.
They do hold. That is correct, but not looking good for EG.
Scotty for Arteezy. Okay, so we're looking at a point now where Luna is starting to get dangerously big. There was an Aegis that fight. That will obviously not be the case next time, but now he has a 9-second BKB. How do you kill this hero as EG? I don't think you can go on him first ever. So you have to try to... I think they're doing a really good target selection with aiming for the supports as early as possible with Abed, Fly, and Crit, trying to kill the backline, and then kite the Luna. It's what you've got to do. But I'm just looking at their heroes. Like, if Luna goes and hits their high ground and the other heroes are well positioned and don't get caught,
right?
I'm not sure how they're going to stop him with this DD from just taking a lane of barracks.
Okay,
they're going to try.
He's going to pop his BKB really fast.
That was a great BKB.
Roar does come out. And like you said, they're kind of lacking damage when that BKB is activated, and Fly is just going to be the sacrifice for now, and it looks like they're going to find Crit as well. So double kill for Mickey with that DD still activated right now. And they're just going to go for this bottom. This is a double damage Alacrity Mickey, although the Alacrity did finally wear off. But again, this is where Luna gets ridiculous with these glaives, just bouncing left and right. This is going to be double racks at the very least without any supports. EG not able to find much, and they're just going to go for the tier 4s, and I can't blame them. Tornado set up by Sumail. Ice Wall to follow. Hurricane Pike into the aggressive play. The Cataclysm to follow with that overgrowth is enough to take out Arteezy. And this looks to be going to tiebreaker, Cinderin. Unless there's some crazy comeback from EG. There's the Eclipse coming out. Ice is going to mitigate all that damage thanks to that BKB. But again, the right clicks. This is why Luna can be so powerful, both magic and physical damage. GG's come out. Tiebreaker, best of one. Team Spirit versus Liquid. That's going to be Spirit's next line for the following season.
Yeah.
PC.
They should hire you to make their voice line.
I'd be happy to.
Imagine having a voice line in the game that says tiebreaker.
Very useful.